So hey guys, lots of people experience depression while others like me just have bad days or are just feeling down on themselves. But no matter why they're depressed, sad or unmotivated to do much of anything, one thing is certain, it's a tough feeling to experience. Depression is isolating, like you're all alone in it and that it will never end. But as a friend or a partner of someone who's experiencing that depression or feeling blue, what can you do to help? After all, there's a lot of literature out there about what not to say to a depressed person and things that most people don't want to hear when they're feeling down. But today, I'm not here to tell you what to say or what not to say, but rather give you the opportunity to tell us your story, because in my tribe, I have millions of listeners with a great set of ears. The following 3 audios you're about to hear are from real letters received out of the hundreds that have landed in my inbox. Today, you'll hear from Rusty, who's 49, Tim, 19, and Claire, 15. Thanks for listening.
Hi Gerald. Let me start off by saying I'd like to remain anonymous. That said, I'm a 19-year-old that's been depressed for 11 years of his life. I have times where I burst out of it and have a good week or day, and then there are times when I just don't see the point in moving, eating, school, work, or anything. My parents really didn't understand it and thought I was just sad, and they tried to cheer me up. I love them for it, but my dad eventually got fed up, and the "you can do it" turned into fights, mostly verbal. After a while, I gave up and threw myself into video games. A virtual reality where the guy or girl across the screen doesn't know me and probably never will. That went on for a few years. I was 12 when I made the decision to change. I didn't change anything internally. I was still sad, but I decided to lie to myself and others. I became the hyper smiley kid. That's how many of the people I knew back then know me to this day. I held this all the way through high school, and I only told one person what was really going on behind the mask I made for myself, and she accepted who I was. But then senior year came. I then realized I was wearing a mask so other people liked me wasn't what I wanted, so I just became myself. Or tried to. I had lived as the super smiley kid for so long, I had lost who I was. All that was behind the mask was this gnawing sadness, the kind that doesn't eat at your heart or your mind, but your very soul. I still have to fight it every day, and making that much of a polar shift made me lose some friends. But the ones that stayed and would listen are the friends I wanted as a 12-year-old. They were the friends that will be here for me whenever I need. I'm now moved out, in my own place, working 40 hours a week, and going to school full time, and every morning I wake up, I have to drag myself out of bed and tell myself, you are doing this for every time you have told yourself you can't. And if it weren't for how stubborn I am, and how determined I am to not let the depression beat me, I would have killed myself long ago.
Hey Gerald, this is a great thing you are doing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Well, let's just say my name is Claire. I'm 15 years old and I was diagnosed with depression a few months ago. I'm now seeing a counsellor once a week, but I'm finding this isn't helping me very much. I believe my depression started when I was 14 years old. I've always been an outspoken and opinionated child, but now I realise my ability to speak for myself hasn't gotten me anywhere. I often cried myself to sleep with thoughts of suicide. The kids at school would call me fat and a psycho. It was awful. My parents are wealthy and well known and have very high expectations of me to become something really good when I'm older. I could never fulfill their dreams. Although I was top of my class, I knew that I had to do better. Then, late last year, I had my first boyfriend. His name was Aaron, and I liked him a lot. We weren't going out for very long until he dumped me. I was so devastated by this. A few weeks after he dumped me, I started to cut my legs and arms because it made me feel better. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't think it was a very big deal. I also started to experiment with my eating habits. Some days I would eat heaps and feel really guilty, then vomit it back up, and other days I didn't eat anything at all. This went on for about 6 months until I told my best friends what I was doing to myself. They all just felt sorry for me, but didn't tell anyone else. One day I came home after school and Mum told me that she was talking to one of my friends' mums and they had told her that I had eating problems. I started to burst into tears, then eventually told her about the cutting and the bulimia. She took me straight to the doctor and he said that I should go to a counsellor, so I've been there now for 7 months. My grades have dropped dramatically, and I'm now the lowest in my class, and for a while I have been drinking excessive amounts of alcohol and doing really stupid things with guys. I regret lots of things in life and still have trouble eating the right foods. I just know I have to pull myself out of this before it takes over me. Can I call you?
Hey Gerald, what a great thing you're doing. Mate, I am 50 now and I'm recovering from severe depression and anxiety brought on by a nervous breakdown 5 years ago. I have been hospitalised 12 times and even scheduled after an unsuccessful suicide attempt. I believe that I have had undiagnosed depression most of my life, but the pressure I put myself under and not listening to my body eventually put me in meltdown mode. My symptoms were very, very debilitating, and my anxiety was only increased as I tried to come to terms with what was happening to me. I knew very little about mental illness and every day was a battle to get through. During the worst of my illness, I was a wild cocktail of medications, hospitalisation, ECT, and periods of psychosis, and I was told that I would never work again and would be on medication for the rest of my life. I was forced to sell my successful business, but I did not lose the one thing that eventually contributed to my recovery: my wife. I consider myself very, very lucky in this regard. As a result of my illness, I would like to pass on the lessons I have learnt. Despite what you are told, you can recover or at least have a better quality of life. Take stock of what is important to you and what makes you happy. Reevaluate your priorities and live life. Research your condition and medications. There are some great websites out there. I am now mostly recovered, on no medication, and am working part-time in the mental health field. I attribute my recovery to a number of things: my wife, my determination, exercise, simplifying my lifestyle and time. As I come out of my hell on earth, I consider that I am a better person for it, even though it was a high price to pay. But I look at the positives and try to move on with my life. I would even go as far as to say that I was blessed by mental illness. I value the human spirit and live my life helping people who are going through what I went through. So no matter what stage of your illness you are at, try to remain positive and take heart. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Thanks, mate.